So President Trump with a warning for Colombian President Gustavo Petro after the dramatic U.S. military operation next door in Venezuela to capture Nicolas Maduro.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me tell you.
So there will be an operation by the U.S.
It sounds good to me.
So now Colombia ramping up its military power along the border that they share with Venezuela. Fox News chief international correspondent Steve Harrigan is reporting live at that border at Cucuta, Colombia. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Martha. That's right. Colombia certainly is bracing for the worst. They fear there could be a massive influx of refugees if the situation in Venezuela turns more violent. So they pulled out some armored personnel carriers at this checkpoint, also ordered 30,000 troops to the border area. Some of the people are coming by in cars. They don't need visas, or motorcycles, or on foot. We spoke to some of them who are leaving Venezuela, just crossing over that bridge, to ask them how they felt about the fact that their president is now in detention in the U.S. Here's what one man told us.
Before we get to what the guy's going to say here as far as Maduro being captured and arrested here in the United States, this is Justin Paul, and doing a reaction here to comments and Colombia, comments on Colombia from President Trump. And he was basically saying they could be next. They asked him if it was going to be an operation in Colombia, and he said sounds good to me. Me personally, I thought Colombia would have been the first place that they would try to go get, because Colombia has always had a long history of smuggling drugs into the United States. But I don't think Colombia had the resource such as oil like Venezuela did. And it looks like they're on a little bit more alert in Colombia. And we know it's a lot of Americans that travel to Colombia and certain places in Colombia to enjoy themselves or whatnot. And we want to get into what they're saying here as far as Maduro.
Yes, I like it. Get him in prison. He has done many bad things in Puerto La Cruz. Yes, it's good. They did something good. Thank God. Don't free Maduro. He has to pay for all he did.
And that's just a sentiment from one young man. It looks like he's a Venezuelan man. So, but as they were saying, Colombia is tightening up their border. They sent some troops there to the border, and if things get worse in Venezuela, then they'll move on to their next steps. Let's go back to what Trump was saying.
A warning for Colombian President Gustavo Petro after the dramatic U.S. military operation next door in Venezuela to capture Nicolas Maduro.
Colombia is very sick too, run by a sick man who likes making cocaine and selling it to the United States. And he's not going to be doing it very long, let me.
So, yeah, that definitely sounds like a bona fide threat. It could be a promise. I really feel like before they try to do any action in Colombia, they want to make sure that they have it under control as far as what they're going to do as far as Venezuela. Because I was, definitely watching some live streams, specifically Myron. And he was talking about, how we lost our moral high ground with what happened in Venezuela, which I do agree. We always try to tell Putin what he can and can't do as far as, his actions in Ukraine. And, we go in and take the so-called, president of Venezuela in the darker night. So, and then also he brought up a lot of stuff that I really wasn't paying attention to as far as like the Brent's currency that Russia is heavily involved in. And that's definitely a video I'm going to do, because I've been doing a whole lot of research on it and stuff like that. So definitely have a video as far as the bricks that they're trying to come up with. I guess they call one of the bricks a unit, and again, I want to do a video on that because, like Mama was saying, we may not see the consequences of this like right now immediately, but long term there could be some consequences to this. So I feel that it kind of all wraps up into that as far as like other countries trying to find a different way to, trade things and pay for things that they trade for instead of using the US dollar. And of course, we are who we are because of the power of the dollar and the power of our military. So, I'm well aware of that, and definitely can't be, um, blind or naive to that fact. But yeah, don't know how much of this is just smoke, maybe to try to get Colombia in line and stuff like that. But we'll have to see. Nobody knew what was gonna happen in Venezuela until it actually happened. But Colombia is not gonna take this. They're not gonna take this lightly. They're gonna try to make sure they protect their president, and we'll just have to see what happens. But of course, there's people who celebrate this, and there's been people all across America who have been protesting this stuff. So again, we'll have to see. And again, I'm going to do a video as far as Brits currency, and just try to do a video that's more educational and informational as far as what Brits currency is and why it's becoming a thing for these countries that's involved in that whole project. But again, if you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. This is Justin Paul. Peace.